Hello and welcome to the second edition of the Golden Syrup Podcast. Joining me tonight, as always, is my co-host Shatner.
It's good to be here, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host David Silk.
It's funny you say that because I was struggling for a name myself, and I almost called you David Silk.
Right. Well, I'm glad that I went for it.
Until recently, Shatner came up.
I just like how it's just Shatner. If anything, that's probably how he should rebrand himself. Just like
Shatner.
Just Shatner. One word.
At twitter.com.
Exactly.
So, we're recording this podcast hot off the heels of the PlayStation 5 conference.
That was a showcase, for being specific.
PlayStation 5 showcase. And overall, we're going to go through it in detail, but overall, what did you think? Shatner.
I don't want to be too pessimistic.
Don't then.
There was very little that got me super excited.
Be optimistic.
Resident Evil or Village.
I've got them written down, so
right,
don't
okay,
just.
Right, okay.
I just like
overall.
If you could sum it up in one word, what would that word be?
Meh.
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 Typical internet banter. Okay, so I took notes. Because I had to.
It's very efficient of you.
And the first thing I've got written down is PS5 only on PC. I think that's the tagline they were going for.
Yeah. So, because of course that first game that they showed off, it said something along the lines of, this is actually running on PC, but it's kind of what it's going to look like on PS5. What even was that? I can't even remember.
I don't know, but then... no, it was Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Then they said everything after that was running on a PS5, which kind of invalidated my joke.
That's right.
But I made it anyway because I wrote it down.
Well, I'm glad that you
did. So Final Fantasy 16, it didn't look that exciting.
I didn't like how it looked. I mean, I thought the Final Fantasy 7 remake from this year on PlayStation 4 looks better, but it's difficult to say because obviously it was stream quality video, but I just didn't think that the art style was particularly inspired, to be honest.
Did it say when it was coming out? I didn't write that down.
I don't think it gave
maybe
a release
it's
date.
quite early in development.
Aye. But,
and they just wanted to have it. Was it exclusive to PS5?
I wouldn't have thought so, but
no.
I didn't say.
Who knows? It's the sort of thing, if you were taking notes on the conference, it'd be good to write that sort of thing down.
Yeah. It just, I didn't think...
I just wrote down that joke.
Time well spent. I just think it looked more kind of Game of Thrones-y than Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But I mean, Final Fantasy... I think you're saying you prefer the cyberpunk aesthetic of Final Fantasy VII Remake to the swords and sorcery theme of this new Final Fantasy 16.
Even just like the character designs and stuff just somehow didn't look as detailed, or I don't know, like I say, it
definitely didn't wow with its graphics.
No.
Fair to say. So anyway, on to the next thing we've seen, which was Spider-Man Miles Morales. Is that how you say it? Morales?
Yeah.
Morals.
Morales.
Now, he's a DJ. Am I right in saying that?
Why would you... I don't know why.
No, there's not like a house DJ.
Oh.
David Morales.
Oh, no. I can't remember. I know who you mean, but my mind's drawn a blank.
It's another joke that's not gone that well, but we'll move on. So,
yeah,
Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yes.
It's a niche
joke. Yeah.
Niche joke. talking of niche niche jokes, the baddie in Spider-Man was called the Tinkerer.
The Tinkerer, yeah. Sounds like a cheeky little playful chat. Oh,
Oh,
the Tinkerer.
Yeah. But that made me think of that song, The Tamperer.
All right, yeah.
Remember that?
Featuring Mia.
Yeah.
Which sampled Can You Feel It by the Jackson 5.
Yeah, it did.
That's...
So, I mean, I thought Spider-Man Miles Morales featuring the Tinkerer looked pretty good.
Yeah.
It's quite impressive.
I haven't finished Spider-Man on PS4. I know you have.
I cried at the end.
Did you?
I did.
Right.
Not because it was finished, because I think I already... I'm not going to spoil it here.
No.
Needless to say...
We don't want to be having to dish out spoiler alerts for stuff. We want to be able to talk.
Needless to say, it was heart-wrenching.
Right. So it's something you would recommend that I go back
that decision that they made you make. How could they do that?
Right. Oh, okay.
No, in fact... Anyway...
So Spider-Man, is that something that you would buy a PlayStation 5 to play at launch?
No. Maybe one of the later games, one of the next games might be though.
Okay.
Because next we had Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah. We won't get into...
We won't get into everything.
Into the J.K. Rowling side of anything. But I don't really know what it is. Is it some kind of like Skyrim-y kind of... Do you know what I mean? An RPG? Action RPG? It was difficult to tell what it was. But I liked a lot of the kind of physics looking... Do you know what I mean? Like the kind of terrain warping stuff that was going on. But other than that...
Look like it might be quite ambitious.
But I've got no investment in Harry Potter or that world at all.
No. I mean, I like Cracker, the Cracker guy.
Robbie Coltrane.
Yeah. He's
in it.
Dead.
I don't know, is he dead? Maybe somebody can leave a comment and let us know if Robbie Coltrane is... No, he's not dead. He's not dead because he was in the paper recently defending J.K. Rowling.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not just saying.
Boo.
Just cut out my reaction.
Yeah.
Saying "Oh God," because I mean, it makes it sound like I've got an opinion on it.
We don't have an opinion on this.
Anyway, the Tinkerer. Is that from the comics?
It's not a villain that I'm aware of. I mean, I'm not. I don't
People
have a comic
probably
book
say,
background.
The Tinkerer has been around since before the Tamperer, featuring Mia.
I would say that's probably quite likely. Yeah.
So next we had Dan Von Drack popping up to tell us about Black Ops.
Blops.
COD Blops.
COD Blops.
As for short.
COD Blops Cold War.
And I've written down some bullet points. Binoculars.
Check. Yep, they definitely had binoculars.
Guns.
Sure, it had guns. Yeah.
Pocket grenades. He put a grenade in the guy's pocket.
That's right.
Or looked like it. He did anyway.
Yeah. It looked like they were kind of trying to go for like Doom style glory kills. Do you know what I mean? That's what I thought.
I never thought of that, but that's true. It was quite. Overall, it was kind of Doom influenced. It was more sort of intense, less realistic.
Yeah, very visceral.
And it got to peak unrealistic when they brought out remote-controlled cars
that could drive faster than actual cars. Maybe that's...
But I wouldn't be surprised if the army actually have them.
Yeah.
It's not beyond the realms of reality.
But it did make being in the military look much cooler than it probably is.
So next up was probably the game I was most excited about, or the only game I was excited about, Resident Evil Village.
Yeah. I think as it stands, that's the only game that I've seen so far that's convinced me that I need to get a next gen console, because it's not coming out on PlayStation 4.
To the next gen.
Yeah.
Is that are you confirming
that is confirmed as far as I know.
I've fallen down from the mic here.
So
it had some Tim Burton-esque cutscenes, so a kind of animated style to them.
Yeah, it was quite cool, wasn't it?
It was cool, but do you think that's just cutscenes, or do you think there'll be gameplay where you...
In the previous trailer, it started off with Mia from Resident Evil 7 reading that story to a child, I think. So I think that's what that was. It was the same story, but animated.
And at the end, there was a strange looking chap, and you thought they might be teasing the merchant.
I thought so at the end of the trailer, it was like a kind of post credits sting, if you like, and it looked like a fat guy trying to sell us something. So maybe that is the what are you selling chap from.
I mean, that's what everyone wants.
Yeah.
I mean that. Even people that don't play Resident Evil would be excited to hear that the merchant guy says what you're buying and what you're selling is coming back.
I think that every subsequent Resident Evil release since 4 has sorely missed.
Well, why not just have them?
Yeah.
Just have them.
Yeah.
After that, we had Deathloop, Bethesda, Arcane, Well, I'm getting confused with my words here, but it's made by Arcane.
The Dishonored people. Yeah. And did you play Dishonored?
Played the first one a bit.
Same.
And I thought it looked amazing, but I was playing it on the PS3 and it was screen tearing.
Yeah, I think I was the same actually.
Or, I don't know if I was playing it on... I was playing it on PS3.
It was PS3.
Pirated. I had it pirated.
Did you maybe get it off me? Like the original copy? Because I bought it and it came with a deck of cards and stuff. It was quite cool.
Ah, cool.
Deck of playing
Have you
cards.
Still got
them?
No. I liked the sort of soft look to the graphics. You know,
Yeah,
it's like a painting or something.
it was a similar art style to Dishonored, sort of cross with Team Fortress 2, kind of that style.
But Deathloop, I mean, you didn't look very impressed by that.
I don't really...
Started checking your Twitter.
Yeah, I don't use Twitter. No, I don't know.
Started checking your MySpace.
I don't know what it is. What is it? Like...
Yeah, me neither. I am a fan of Arcane, and I liked the music, the kind of 60s style soundtrack and the art style. But yeah, I don't know what it was, and it looked like it was maybe an online sort of multiplayer thing, was it?
Yeah, it's difficult to tell, because it seemed like he was... there was like a series of NPCs that he was shooting or like hunting down, and then all of a sudden another person's hunting him. So I don't know, it sounds like it could be like a one-on-one multiplayer, but when it looks like there's actual... It's not just like a death match. It's like you'll have mission objectives to kill certain people, like NPCs, and while you're doing that, maybe this other hunter is trying to hunt you down in a loop. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
I mean, it actually sounds quite interesting.
But we're speculating because we don't really know.
If that's not the game, then we could make a game like that. What you described.
Sure. Yeah.
Although we're only mildly interested in it.
Mm.
Next up was Devil May Cry 5. And they had an emo song playing away.
Yeah, it was very
loud.
emo, wasn't it? It was very My Chemical Romance.
Everything about it was
flavoured.
Yeah. Have you played much of the Devil May Cry series?
No, I got Devil May Cry 1 on Switch recently, because I didn't play it on PlayStation 2. I got it on Switch, having just played like Bayonetta 1 and 2, so I thought, it'd be quite easy to get into a similar sort of game. I just couldn't get, there was a bit in this, like the second level or something, I just couldn't get past it, just kept getting my ass kicked and I haven't went back to it since. It looks great. I wish I was into it.
Yeah, I mean the combat looked good, quite flashy.
Yeah.
Had an emo song,
which is never a good thing, really. But I mean,
maybe if they hadn't had the emo song, it might have seemed more exciting.
Yeah.
Next up was Lorne Lanning.
Who's that now?
Lorne Lanning. Lorne Lanning.
I don't.
Oddworld Soulstorm.
Oh.
Lorne Lanning. Is that not the guy's name? Lorne Lanning.
I can't remember.
Anyway, new Oddworld. Looks like they've gone back to a kind of 2D style.
Yeah.
But taking it to the next level as far as graphical power is concerned.
Are you a fan of the Oddworld series?
Yeah, I like what they've done with it, and they've always stayed true to their creative vision. I've never finished any of the games or really got that far, but I like the world they've built.
Yeah. I finished, I think it's Abe's Odyssey and Abe's Exodus on the PC years ago.
I do like the sort of side-scrolling 2D flashback Prince of Persia type.
It's
gameplay.
Really punishing. It's really difficult.
But then you just restart at the start of the screen, or not far away.
Yeah.
But it is quite. But hopefully this new one will be. Games these days, they're quite generous with the checkpoints, and I imagine this new Abe will be similar in that respect.
You'd think
and then
so.
they could really push the challenge without it becoming so frustrating.
Yeah. It looks incredible, anyway, like visually.
Lorne Lanning.
Lorne Lanning.
Looks incredible.
He's a impressive looking chap.
And after that, you were excited about this. FNAF something.
FNAF something? Alright, no. Yeah, I kind of tuned out. It was Five Nights at Freddy's, wasn't it?
Tuned out at FNAF.
Yeah.
Right. And next up was Demon's Souls, the remake from Bluepoint Software, which no doubt the entire internet is going pretty crazy about right now.
Yeah.
But neither of us that excited.
Controversially, I couldn't give a fuck about Dark Souls. In fact, I think that they look horrible as games. I got Bloodborne thinking, maybe this one will be the one that will get me into it and I'll finally understand why everyone loves these games. And I don't know, I don't know what it is about them. There's just something missing that allows me to connect with the worlds that they've created. I don't know what it is. It's maybe just the dark aesthetic just doesn't appeal to me.
It's another fantasy based game, but I suppose it's quite different from the fantasy in the Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
This is probably not a Final Fantasy, maybe a Middle Fantasy.
Middle Fantasy. Yeah.
Yeah?
I think that the other problem with the Souls type games is much like the Rick and Morty issue, is the fan base can be quite annoying.
Aye.
You know?
Well, I'm only agreeing in so much that any fan base that's overly enthusiastic can become quite annoying.
It's kind of like worn as like a badge of hardcore, like if you're into Dark Souls and stuff like that. And just I don't know, that kind of puts me off in some respects as well.
But Bluepoint previously did the remaster of Shadow of the Colossus.
That's right.
And did you play? I don't think you did play that, did you?
I never played the remake, but it was bad timing on the part of the release. Basically, I'd just finished The Last Guardian, I think, and then I'd went back because I'd had Shadow of the Colossus in Eco HD on the PS3, and I went back and had played through Shadow of the Colossus on the PS3, and then they announced the remake like shortly after I'd finished it. So just like in terms of timing, I'd literally just finished it, and I just wasn't really that excited about playing it again so soon. Something that I meant to go back to, but it looks.
I guess
it looks amazing.
It's less like The Last Guardian, more like The Middle Guardians. So after that, they dropped a bombshell. PlayStation Collection. Tell us about this, Shatner.
So this would appear to be Sony's backwards compatibility effort, which looks like a handful of PlayStation 4 games that you'll be able to play on the PlayStation 5. You'll be able to download them for free as part of a sort of additional PlayStation Now subscription or something like that. That was the impression I got. So yeah, you're going to have access to a catalogue of PlayStation 4 games.
This is obviously to compete with the Xbox.
Yeah, there wasn't much information, was there? I mean, it didn't say if there were. Well, it didn't give a full list of the games, but it didn't say if they were going to be like running at higher resolutions or like enhanced in any way, running on PlayStation 5. Did they?
They just looked like trailers they were playing, and that's what I was trying to tell. I was thinking, because they did look quite good. I thought, have they been enhanced?
But then PlayStation 4 games look good. That's the thing.
That was kind of the conclusion I came to. So
well, that's the kind of, for me, that's the kind of the reason why I'm kind of mostly indifferent towards everything that we've seen. Is just the next generation just looks a lot like the last generation to me. There's nothing that's jumping out as being a generational leap.
The next generation's kind of like the middle generation. So then they announced the price. £360 for the digital version.
Yeah.
Or $450 for, I'm talking pounds here.
British pounds.
Great British pounds, sterling. Or $450 for the full fat edition.
Yeah.
So what do you think of those as prices?
It's an interesting pricing point, I think, because obviously Microsoft. I don't actually know the price of the Series X in pounds. It might actually be about the same, like £450. In which case, yeah, that would make sense. They're maybe slightly undercutting them. I don't know. But the lower price Xbox, that's $299, which could end up being, like, say, £250 or £299, depending on how they decide to do it.
Definitely sounds appealing, that price point there.
Yeah, but there is a difference in so far as the Series S is a different spec to the Series X, whereas the PlayStation 5, the digital edition, I think is just the same spec but minus the disc drive. So for that extra £70 or whatever, you're actually getting the full spec hardware, but just minus the ability to use discs. That's my understanding. I could be wrong about that. So in terms of a value proposition, it's kind of difficult to weigh up which is the better option at this point. But yeah, interesting.
So still all to play for.
Yeah.
Between Microsoft and PlayStation. So let's move on to the main. I mean, that was kind of a little extra. We just watched the PlayStation event live. So that was an extra bit of content for you there. Now it's on to our regularly scheduled content.
That's right.
First off, myself and Shatner would like to deeply apologise to John Riggs and his family for any discomfort or upset that we may have caused. So, Shatner, did you notice that there was a lot of videos on YouTube about video game box art this week?
We did notice that, didn't we?
It just seemed to be a strange trend.
Yeah.
Unless we missed something.
Yeah.
Was it Video Game Box Art Week or?
Yeah, it did seem like that, didn't it? That maybe there was an appreciation kind of event that we missed out on. We didn't know was happening.
Because, I mean, there's probably lots more, but just for an example, we've seen Video Game Donkey dropping a video on the topic. Scott The Woz.
Scott The Woz, we'd been commenting and had been missing for quite a while, came out of nowhere and dropped his first video in a month, and it was about video game box art.
Yeah, well, spoilers for you, Shatner. Scott The Woz is actually our deep dive this episode.
Oh my god.
So let's not get into it too much.
Right, okay.
Also, a video about best game cases is Happy Console Gamer.
Yeah.
And
there was one more, wasn't there?
Rabid Luigi.
Rabid Luigi did one?
He did a video about it as well.
That's right. I mean,
on its face, it's not the most interesting topic to talk about, but I think these YouTubers are scraping the bottom of the content barrel somewhat at the moment.
It must be quite difficult for them. Like, I always think that there's a kind of whiff of desperation, kind of filling their time with.
The panic must set in when you realise you need to come up with a new top 10.
Alright, yeah, not the most interesting subject matter, but we were talking about was it manuals or something the other day? We were talking about like how, like, basically you're quite digital, aren't you? You don't.
Yes.
You're not particularly fussed about.
I am.
And I quite like getting myself a physical copy if I can. And the art of physical media is kind of not much effort's getting put in these days. Oh, it was DVDs we were talking about. That's what it was. But I suppose you could extend that to games in physical media.
That's right.
That's right. You don't get a manual anymore. You used to get things like posters, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Little things in the box.
Isn't all that stuff kind of wasteful?
Yes.
I mean, we're trying to save plastic and we're drinking through paper straws. So maybe we should stop making all that.
No.
Just so YouTubers could pile their shelves with it and stand in front of it like some sort of badge of honour.
See, you say that, but you know that people like Nintendo, like they'll host their content on their digital storefront as long as it's profitable for them to do it, and then they can remove that at any time, and we know that that's happened.
Yeah, I'll just pirate it at that point.
Alright, well, that's not always possible, and a lot of people don't have the technical know-how to play pirated material.
Just give
the Golden Syrup Show does not advocate piracy in any way.
Just give me or Shatner a call if you need to pirate something, and we'll point you in the right direction. I mean, everyone got upset when Emu Paradise disappeared, but well, let's be honest, there's a million places you could download ROMs from, or ISOs.
Yeah, but people like playing on original hardware with their original controllers and.
But so you get an EverDrive, put the ROMs and stuff on there, and then you're playing on original hardware.
But that doesn't take away from the point that, like, if you've got something physically, then you've always got that. So I could have made a well better case for physical media there, but it was definitely more interesting than any of the videos by the aforementioned content creators about box art.
About box art. So, also announced this last week or so, was Zelda Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
Indeed. Or
ZHWAOC. As do you want to say that?
No, but
Zwak.
It's catchy.
So you're quite excited about
it? I've not really played any of the Warriors games. Like, they just never really appealed to me. But obviously, this one has a unique draw to it, doesn't it? It's a canon prequel to Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not interested because it's a Warriors game.
Well, the thing is, right, that I always thought that the core gameplay in the Warriors games looked fun, you know, like thousands of enemies on screen.
Well, why did you never pick any of the games up?
I'm not sure, just didn't seem like that was enough to warrant me buying it, but obviously this one's a bit different, you know. They're working a lot closer with Nintendo, and it is actually a proper story-driven prequel.
I feel like if they put Zelda on anything, the new Zelda fanboys are going to buy it.
Well, yes, that's absolutely the case, but there's a reason for that. It's because pretty much all Zelda games are outstanding.
Mario Kart, they put Zelda in that, and you bought that.
Yep.
Can't deny it. So, I've written down on my notes about Zelda, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, lore nerd.
Lore nerd.
I heard that.
Lore
I
nerd.
just thought it.
We were watching some
because they
lore.
were talking about how it's got lore.
Lore.
Lot of
Lore.
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 I think that's the lure.
Yeah. Lore. People want to know more about that particular world. Like, almost everyone that played Zelda Breath of the Wild was like wanting more of the stuff that happened 100 years ago. They were wanting to see what happened before the calamity and all the rest of it. So I think to be able to do that in a kind of side project while still having Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 coming hopefully next year, it's just like a little bonus treat that nobody was expecting, and it's apparently already the biggest selling game on Amazon this year, outselling everything. It's not even out yet. Previously Mario 3D All Stars was for about a day, and then they dropped that.
So it kind of confirms what I said a minute ago. They put Zelda on anything, all you idiots are going to buy it.
Yeah.
Even though it's a Warriors game.
Well, yeah.
So, next topic I had written down was, wouldn't it be good if Donald McIntyre did a game review show?
Donald McIntyre.
Yeah, or Donald.
Donald McIntyre.
Doing game reviews.
What would you call it?
I've written that down.
Donald McIntyre's games machine.
Take some time to think about it.
Suggestions in the comments
we
for.
don't need to go with the first idea.
No, I like it. He's got a very authoritative candor.
I just want to graze on the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, because we've talked at length about the PS5, and it's only fair and non-biased to talk about the Xbox.
Yeah. So at this stage, we've kind of got a fair amount of information about both now. If you were backed into a corner and you had to pick what one you would choose at this stage, what would it be?
I'm thinking Xbox is looking good because it's the cheapest.
Yeah.
And when you've seen all those PS4 games, you just thought I've played all of them.
Literally.
Whereas I didn't have an Xbox One. So I've not played the games that were on there.
Well, I mean, it's not like there was much in the way of exclusives, but...
No, there was nothing. Cut that bit out.
But in terms of like things like the Game Pass thing, you know, that's what kind of is swaying me more towards Xbox as well at the moment. Yeah, the fact it's cheaper, you can pay, I think it's what, £10 a month, and you've got access to a library of games across, what, 2 or 3 generations then? If it's Series XS, the Xbox One, and there's Xbox 360 games and stuff on there as well. And plus, backwards compatibility, I think, is a biggie for me. Like, I really want to be able... Like, I really hope that the PlayStation 5 would play everything. You know, like, I think most people were kind of hoping that they would have figured out the backwards compatibility thing by this generation.
But you just said you didn't want to play any of those games because you played them all.
Yeah, but that's a
just
small selection of PlayStation 4 games as opposed to the entire
PlayStation.
PlayStation.
Did they not say at the end all the PS?
No, it literally showed you.
I was taking notes. It's the first time I've taken notes while watching a game.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
No,
my
but
understanding
it's kind of
was
difficult to take notes and watch it.
what they'd said a couple of months ago was
Now
that
the rabbit's eating the notes.
the top 100 games, PlayStation 4 games, would be playable on PS5 at launch, but that just seemed to showcase a sort of a handful. Like, there was maybe about 10, 15. So maybe they're working towards getting that top 100. Maybe they'll all just work. I don't know, but it didn't seem to be the most enticing selection. You know, like the ones that every PlayStation 4 owner would have got and played when they came out.
Okay, so I think we're still on the fence. I don't normally buy the PlayStation or the Xbox at launch anyway.
No, I'll definitely not be getting either of them at launch.
Nintendo consoles, yes.
Yeah.
But it's usually take a year for... I'd say there'll be a year before there'll be a good PS5 game. You heard it here first on the Golden Syrup Show.
Or at least the first sort of system seller. Yeah.
So that takes us on to our deep dive section of the show.
Deep dive.
And tonight we're going to be looking at Scott The Woz.
Whoa, I had no idea that was coming.
Who's become pretty big on the old YouTube.
Yeah, I'd say for good reason.
In a very short amount of time.
I mean, he's been about for how many years? Good few... 3-4 years maybe?
Seems like a short amount of time to me.
Well, it has to be more than 3 years because the Switch has been out for 3 years, and I remember watching him before the Switch came out, I'm sure.
Because the first thing I'd like to talk about is a bit of a conspiracy theory.
Okay.
How did he get so big in such a short amount of time? And I don't think that he's just one guy in his bedroom. I think there's a team of professionals working on Scott The Woz.
Right.
And I think it looks like he's recording in a small bedroom, but I think he's actually recording in a studio with a team of filmers.
And what do you base this theory on? What evidence have you got?
Always talking about evidence.
Well, it's an important...
I just think it's strange. It's hard to make it in the YouTube game. I mean, we've put up our podcast on YouTube.
Last week, check it out on golden syrup whatever.
And we've only got 30 views. I mean, what's Scott The Woz got that we haven't got?
How long have you been thinking like this theory? How long have you been constructing it?
No, I've thought it for a while, because you get a lot of these YouTubers, they pretend to be autistic, passionate fanboys, but they're actually like Hollywood's actors, like Matt Pat.
Scientologists.
Don't say it.
Sorry.
I think 29 of those views that we got in the last show were from the Scientology people.
Yeah. Do you reckon that they're involved in hiding us from view?
We've been shadow banned. You are right. He's a talented guy. I mean, it's all credit to him if he is doing it on his own, researching this stuff. editing the videos.
I mean, I'm sure he does have like help. It'd be crazy to do it all himself.
Because he puts out videos quite often, except in the recent times, like you said, where he had a bit of a lull.
Yeah. But he does some quite long-form content in quite a short space of time.
I wonder if it had anything to do with COVID.
What, do you think he got COVID, or...?
He just didn't make a video for quite a while, and then you checked his YouTube and confirmed that, and then the next day, or that very night in fact, he put up a new video.
Like, I wondered if YouTube had accidentally unsubscribed me from him because I hadn't seen anything.
That doesn't happen though. Let's not get into that now.
Let's not.
So, the best Scott The Woz video is one without his friends in it. Agree?
Yeah.
I mean, I subscribe for Scott The Woz, not for Scott The Woz and his annoying shouting friends.
Yeah, there has been quite a lot of shouting in recent Scott The Woz efforts.
A lot of peaking.
Yeah, peaking on the mic.
Audio levels.
Which you'll notice that we don't do at the Golden Syrup Show.
At least we try not to. Try our best to avoid.
Keep it soft.
Like syrup. Soft, syrupy voices. I like it when he gets deep into the subject. Cuts out the nonsense. No, or cuts the nonsense to a minimum. He's still an interesting guy to listen to, but it's probably my own fault for watching too much Scott The Woz.
Probably.
Just, you know when he says "Hail Scott" here, I feel a bit nauseous.
What really
I've heard it too many times.
What really annoys me about that is he doesn't leave enough space. Like, every time a Scott The Woz video comes on, he doesn't allow for the YouTube buffer, so I always miss the "Hey y'all" bit. Like, if I wanted to hear it, I'd have to rewind it back because the YouTube buffer cuts off. He doesn't leave enough space between when the video starts and when he says his catchphrase for it to... Do you not get that?
I was watching this other guy, I think he's called True Crime Junkie, and he has this really annoying intro where he says something like, "Hey, how are you guys?" And then before you've had a chance to reply to him, he says, "That's great," or something. And it just seems kind of, you know, like somebody who's not even listening to... If I... Like,
it's like, don't ask me if you're not going to listen to what I've got to say, you fucking prick.
I'll ask you how you are, right? Shatner, how are you? That's great.
Yeah, no, that was annoying.
I think I might have peaked the mic there.
No, you didn't. You didn't peak the mic.
So, I mean, let's just summarise Scott The Woz.
Well, I particularly feel a kinship with Scott because his favourite game of all time is the same as mine, Super Mario Galaxy, which I'm very excited about coming out on Friday. So yeah, he talks about Mario Galaxy quite a lot, and every time he does, I'm totally on board with it. I don't think there's enough videos on the internet that talk about Super Mario Galaxy.
That's right.
So if I had a message for Scott, I'd say, can we have another few videos about an hour long each about Super Mario Galaxy or Super Mario Galaxy 2 maybe?
I thought I'd written down like categories that I was going to rate, Scott, like personality and stuff like that.
Well, personality, I would give him a good solid 8 to 9 out of 10. Say an 8.5. He's a cheeky chap, very witty. For such a young lad as well.
How old do you think he is?
He's got to be like 22 or something.
Maybe we should get on famousbirthdays.com.
Maybe we should have actually researched this and found out how old he is.
No, this is a regular section of the show.
Yeah.
Where we look on famousbirthdays.com. and see when someone was born.
Do you think Scott The Woz is famous enough to get on famousbirthdays.com? And if so, do you think he uploaded the information himself, like John Riggs?
Say it again. But say John Riggs.
I'll just edit
Then
it.
it'll be funny.
I'll edit it badly, so it's honestly it'll sound great. In fact, I've done it.
Scott The Woz birthday. Okay, right. So I know his year of birth. You guess his age.
I said 22.
You already guessed.
Yeah,
You guessed 22.
I did. So you have to do the maths and figure out if
No,
I'm-
it says the age. I already know.
Right.
23.
He's 23. Okay, right.
You'd be good at IDing people.
Yeah.
You should be a bouncer. Or if you're in America,
A bouncer.
So, out of 10, Scott was?
For personality.
No, just in general. We're
In
going to
general,
move on. I mean,
no.
I like a deep dive, but...
Come on, I don't think you're really committing to this deep dive
No, I
format.
thought I'd
in
written down categories to rate them on.
We could have just made them up on the
I
fly.
think the rabbits eat it.
Yeah, like so. For our listeners, David is currently thumbing through a notebook which has been decimated by a rabbit. There's bits of pages hanging off. It's a shambles.
Well, I'm sorry, Scott. There was. We didn't. It's only episode 2.
Yeah, we're still kind of getting to grips with the
We've never
format,
done a podcast before, anything like this.
and yeah,
And we've not got a team of writers working on it
no.
like you.
Believe it or not, we just come up with this stuff off the cuff.
We're doing this ourselves, unlike you, the fraud, Scott the fraud.
Oof. Controversy. So on that bombshell,
Let's not get. I don't want it to go to sort of John Riggs level of stuff. Happened before. You know what happened with John Riggs?
let's not go there. So have we got anything else to talk about regarding Scott The Woz?
So we did personality. Is that what we did?
We did personality.
Right. What else would you rate? Looks. Oh, it's going that whole John Riggs way again. No, I definitely wrote stuff down for this, and it was game knowledge.
Game knowledge.
Rate him on his game knowledge.
Oh, like I'd say he's very. I'd say he's more Nintendo specific, but I'd say no, he's a knowledgeable chap. He seems to know his shit, or at least checks his facts before he makes a video, which is always nice.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. Game knowledge, I'd say a solid 8.
So what did you rate him for personality?
8.5.
8.5. Right, you keep account of this.
Yeah.
And game knowledge was that. And then the other category that I had was like video production.
It's functional. It's not like he's doing anything overly complicated. Maybe a 6, 7.
He puts his videos in like a strange box, like a border, coloured border.
That's right.
And we talked about the peak in audio, of course, with his friends shouting and screaming. Like
Audio, I've got an issue with. I've already said about he doesn't account for the YouTube buffer. He should leave us a space or a breath before he fucking starts. And
that might be specific to your setup.
No, it's like everything that I've watched him on. Like, yeah, and audio peaking. Fucking sort it out, seriously.
So, out of 10?
What for sound?
For production?
For production
overall, video and audio.
Audio is dragging it down to 5.5.
And what else? Sex appeal.
Sex appeal. Oh, that's a perfect 10. Perfect 10.
Video production. jokes. Rate him on his comedy.
He's right.
His writing.
Yeah, he's good, man.
Very good
Very
writing,
good.
I'd say. But it would be when you've got a team of writers working on your stuff. Not like us.
No.
Do it all ourselves. Okay, so if you tot up the scores there for Scott The Woz, and we'll have a final score out of 40 or something.
Presumably. Yeah, did you take a note of all the scores that I'd said?
No.
Right, so I think it was an 8.5, an 8, a 5.5. You not got your calculator out?
No.
For fuck's sake, am I going to have to do that? Right, okay. Right, so I've opened up the timer instead of the calculator. That's piss poor. Right. Calculator.
John Riggs, if you are listening, it was our first show. We're just learning the ropes here.
Right, so what did we say? 8.5 plus 8 plus 5.5 plus, what did I say for writing? We give him a
10 on 10.
Well, I'm gonna say 9. You
I'm not rating him. You're rating him.
I'm rating him. It works out to be 31 out of 40.
31 out of 40.
He lost a lot of points for his audio peaking issues.
Peaking.
Yeah.
Oh, disgusting. Okay. Well, Scott The Woz, if you are listening, thanks for your videos. Very enjoyable.
Stop shouting with your mates.
Tell your friends to just keep the level down.
In fact, maybe get them to fuck. Just fuck off.
No, if you tell your friends, have a listen to the Golden Syrup show, and maybe they could learn a thing or two.
Yeah.
Moving on to catchphrase of the week.
Oh.
That's a regular section of the show where we look at the good or bad catchphrases of some of the top
or many layers in between
of YouTube gaming personalities. And this week I changed it up with a special request from Shatner, actually, and a favourite of mine as well, and that's Juan Romero from Switchwatch.
That's right.
And his catchphrase, which is "See you in the next Juan."
See you on the next one.
Like it has his name.
Yeah. Now we weren't sure initially if this was on purpose or if it was just luck,
Potluck.
But we're pretty confident now that is exactly what he's saying. See you guys in the next one.
And if it is, which it is,
yeah, then it's genius.
Genius. That is genius.
Yeah.
I love it. I find a lot of these catchphrases annoying, quite frankly. But
Not that one.
Not that one.
That one will never get old.
No,
In fact, I'd go as far as to say that's my number one catchphrase so far that we've covered on the Golden Syrup show.
Number one. We've only done one before.
We've only done the one before, and that was more sort of erring on the negative side, wasn't it?
What was that one?
It was that's not just a theory, that's a game theory.
It's so annoying. Even when you say it.
You find it much more annoying than I do.
Maybe if Juan delivered it, it'd be better. Right, look, so I'll go first. Let's both do our best Juan Romero sign-out impression, okay? I'll go first. See you in the next Juan.
Right. I'll see you in the next one.
I mean, I think you can do it better than that. Right, I'll go again.
I'll see you in the next... No, I could do it better.
You need to get in... I'm
trying to get as close in as I can.
No, you need to get into character. Like, you need to become Juan Romero.
See, like, I'm trying to, but I keep seeing the other guy from Switch Corner, the Welsh guy, and all I can hear is his voice.
Don't block him.
I can't do it. He's fucking there. He's in the corner of the screen of my...
I wasn't thinking about him until you brought him up.
Well, now I can't... I'm sorry.
Just think of Juan.
I can't think of... I can't think...
Right. See you in the next one.
See you in the next one. That's right.
See you in the next one. See you in the next one.
Nailed
He's
it.
quite suave.
They're quite cockney, aren't they? The Romero brothers.
Come see you in the next one.
Yeah. See you in the next one. No, that's too Frank Butcher.
Sound like Fagin.
That was still...
Anyway, if you're listening, Juan, all in good fun.
If you are listening, Juan, if you could let us know the process of how you came up with your catchphrase. Did you always intend to incorporate your name into it somehow? Or was it a happy accident? We'd love to hear.
Get back to us, Juan. And the next one.
Yeah.
So, a lovely little section there. And that brings us nicely on to another new regular... Well, it's not new, I keep saying it.
Yeah.
To another regular section of the show. And it's Controversy of the Week with Young Yeah.
This is always a favourite section of mine. Finding out what Young's been getting upset about this. What's boiling Young's piss this week, David? Silk. Are you wearing any silk?
No.
Why not?
So, when I read this out, I want you to put in that sound effect.
The Christopher Nolan Hans Zimmer one.
Because, just to give this a bit more weight.
Right, okay, here we go.
Monster Energy forced Ubisoft to change Gods and Monsters title. Claimed it caused confusion.
Ubisoft.
I meant the actual sound, not just do it with your mouth.
It's just giving me a marker point to do it. I can edit that out.
What do you think about that, Shatner?
So it seems unlikely to me.
Of course, you've probably seen the videos about Monster Energy drink and Satan.
I've seen videos of Monster Energy drink and Death Stranding and wondered what the fuck was going on there.
Well, I played Death Stranding and I'm wondering what's going on there. Something to do with Satan.
See if I was living in the end times and that's all there was to drink, I don't know, man. How are anyone still alive? Like seriously, fucking. To me, that makes the whole game unbelievable. One, that Monster Energy drink still exists in a post-apocalypse, and two, that being the primary source of liquids, that more people aren't dead or suffering from severe brain tumours or something in this universe.
That's right. So thanks to Young Yeah for getting his knickers in a twist about that.
Yeah.
And we'll look forward to seeing what he's upset about next week.
Young out.
Young out. So, I think that brings us to the end of this week's show.
I think so.
Shatner, it's been delightful meeting up with you and talking about all this stuff.
A joy as always.
And I hope to see you next time for the next one. So it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from Shatner.
See you on the next one.
See you on the next one.